The cold wind of the 10th century sweeps across a Scandinavian landscape as a king stands before a massive stone monument, his name etched in sharp, angular lines that would survive for a millennium. Fast forward to a sterile corporate boardroom in 1996, where tech giants are desperate for a name that signifies unity. They reach back into the shadows of the Dark Ages, pulling out two ancient symbols to represent a future they had only begun to imagine. The invisible waves connecting a phone to a headset today are carrying the signature of a Viking king. Introduction. The Bluetooth logo is one of the most recognizable symbols in the modern world, appearing on billions of devices across the globe. To the casual observer, it looks like a stylized letter B with sharp, jagged edges. However, this icon is not a product of modern typography. It is a Bine rune, a combination of two distinct characters from the younger Futhark alphabet used by the Norse people during the Viking Age. The story of how these ancient carvings became the face of short-range radio frequency technology is a bridge between the physical conquests of the past and the digital connections of the present. It begins with a king who was famous for his ability to talk people into submission rather than just fighting them, and ends with a global standard that conquered the world without a single drop of blood. The origins, King Harald, and the runes. To understand the logo, one must first understand the man behind the name. Harald Gormsson was a king of Denmark and Norway who ruled during the late 900s. He earned the nickname Bluetooth, though the exact reason remains a subject of historical debate. Some suggest he had a dark-colored dead tooth that appeared blue, while others believe he wore expensive blue clothing to signal his wealth. Regardless of the origin of his name, his greatest achievement was the unification of disparate, warring Scandinavian tribes under a single crown and a single religion. In the runic alphabet of his time, his initials were represented by two specific characters. The first is the Hagall rune, which looks like an X with a vertical line through the center, representing the letter H. The second is the Bjarkan rune, which resembles a modern capital B, but with sharp, pointed curves, representing the letter B. Individually, these symbols were more than just letters. They were considered to possess spiritual significance, often carved into stone, bone, or wood, to convey messages of protection, growth, or history. The fusion creating the Bine rune. The transition from alphabet to icon happened when engineers from Intel, Ericsson, and Nokia met to finalize a short-range radio link. They needed a temporary code name for the project. Jim Pardash of Intel suggested Bluetooth after reading about King Harald's ability to unite people. He envisioned the technology doing exactly what the king had done, uniting the PC and cellular industries with a short-range wireless link. The design process for the logo followed this logic of unification. By taking the Hagall rune, H, and the Bjarkan rune, B, and overlaying them, a new geometric shape emerged. The vertical spine of the Bjarkan rune merged with the central axis of the Hagall rune. The result was a symbol that felt both ancient and futuristic. It was a visual metaphor for the merging of different technologies into one seamless experience. The sharp angles of the runes were retained, giving the logo a distinct technical feel that distinguished it from the soft, rounded icons common in the late 90s. The rise to global dominance. When the technology was ready for market, the marketing teams originally intended to name it Radio Wire or PAN, Personal Area Network. However, trademark searches for those names would have taken too long, so they launched with the internal code name Bluetooth. What was meant to be a placeholder became a global phenomenon. As the logo began to appear on laptops, earpieces, and eventually every smartphone, the blue oval background was added to give it a professional corporate identity. The color blue was chosen not only to match the name, but because blue is psychologically associated with stability, trust, and intelligence in the tech world. The logo remains remarkably consistent as the technology evolved from version 1.0 to the high-speed, low-energy versions used today. While the software inside changed completely, the runic signature of a dead Viking king remained the constant interface between the user and the machine. The cultural impact of the symbol. The evolution of the Bluetooth logo represents a rare moment where history and high technology collide. Most tech logos are abstract or based on modern imagery like apples, windows, or envelopes. Bluetooth stands alone as a piece of cultural heritage hidden in plain sight. It serves as a reminder that even in an era of silicon chips and invisible data packets, humans still rely on the power of storytelling and ancient symbols to give meaning to their inventions. The transition from the rough-hewn stones of Jelling, where King Harald raised a monument to his parents, to the sleek glass surfaces of modern hardware is a testament to the longevity of the runes. The logo does not just represent a connection between a speaker and a phone, it represents a connection across time. It turns every user of modern technology into a silent carrier of Norse history, even if they have no idea that the blue icon on their screen is 1,000-year-old initials of a monarch. Conclusion. From the frozen fjords of Scandinavia to the pocket of every person on Earth, the journey of the Bluetooth logo is a masterclass in branding and historical continuity. It began as a tribute to a king who unified a fractured land and became the symbol of a technology that unified a fractured digital landscape. The merging of the Hagall and Bjarkan runes created more than just a trademark. It created a visual language for the wireless age. As we move further into a future defined by even more complex connections, the jagged runic B remains a steady anchor, proving that the most advanced tools of tomorrow can still be built upon the foundations of the ancient past. The king is dead, but his signature lives on in every byte of data we send through the air.